Well, here it is, folks. The season finale of Season 2 of Huell's Gold and California's Gold. I'm Chris.
I'm Allan.
Number 25.
Big 2-5.
Quarter century mark.
That's what I was going to say. So
We are 1/8 of the way to a bicentennial.
we're doing it.
Yeah.
That's quite the
That's
analysis.
all there is to it. So we're in Los Angeles this week. Just keeping it down home. Huell's home away from home. I don't know which one he lived in.
Little Tokyo?
Well, Los Angeles in general. But I wonder where he spent more time, L.A. or Palm Springs.
You know, I feel like L.A., that's close to the office.
Yeah, for
So-
work and stuff. But
I imagine he was more of a Palm Springs guy.
well, plus think about the fact that there's 12 episodes a year, and they were coming out, we assume, weekly, and then a lot of the other time he was traveling. So if he's needing a home base, why not get in the desert?
I could see that. It was more unique, too. I mean, he lived in a building in Los Angeles, like a fancy apartment, for sure.
Yeah, but, in comparison to a flying saucer house or whatever it was, volcano house. Anyway.
Speaking of volcano houses, where are we this week?
We're in downtown L.A. at Little Tokyo for the Nisei Parade celebration.
So what did you think of the intro here?
I'll say this much. The intro is really kind of just bare bones, simplistic. But when we get to the outro, it's going to make it all worthwhile.
Well, at least in the intro, Huell has all of his articles of clothing on.
Good tease. Yeah. Yeah, so we're just in this kind of park area. There's a little creek. He's on a bridge over the creek. And he's kind of making the point, oh, can you believe I'm in downtown L.A.? You better, because here we are in Little Tokyo. But
Have you ever been to a Japanese garden?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to call this a garden, even though I think maybe a park is better, but...
In San Francisco, at the Golden Gate Park.
Oh.
Yeah. But what'd you think of the theme this
Oh,
week?
yeah, I've been to one, too.
Oh, have you?
It's Spokane, so it's not even in California, so I guess it...
Does that even count, then?
I guess not.
What does count out of California?
Nothing exists.
Just kidding.
Well, what were you saying?
The theme this week.
Oh, the theme, yeah. The Bugle Band.
Bugle Corps.
The Bugle
Drum
Corps.
and Bugle Corps. The Bugle Boys.
Bugle Boy.
Yeah, it's the Koyasan Boy Scout Troop number 379 Drum and Bugle Corps.
And don't worry, these scouts are still around.
They've scouted out a way to continue being scouts through any and all circumstances, as you'll hear about.
If you ever want to see Troop 379,
Yes.
you cruise on over to the Koyasan Temple.
Yeah. There they be.
There they be.
But the theme itself was fun. But one thing you don't hear in the theme, unless you listen really hard, is the Cub Scouts sitting down waving pom-poms. Obviously, they're not allowed to play the music yet.
Well, no, and the old flag crew in the back,
Yeah.
they're not allowed to...
The color guard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The flag crew better.
Anyway, let's get a little lowdown on how we're starting this out in Little Tokyo. Hit it up, Huell.
It's a celebration that's been held annually for over 50 years now, the Nisei Week Japanese Festival. And it all takes place in Little Tokyo, right in the heart of downtown L.A. It's a festival that includes all kinds of cultural events, including the Nisei Week Parade. And for many of the people who come out for the events, this is much more than just another parade.
All right, so Nisei Parade.
Nisei.
Is that what you thought?
Yeah. Knee hyphen S-A-Y.
Yeah. That's not how it's spelled. Nisei. That's not how I pronounced it in my head before, but thankfully Huell came with the pronunciation. We didn't have to look that one up.
Okay, so this first interview.
Yeah.
It's nothing with her. I mean, she has a baby on her back, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, it's not one of those like front carriers. It straight up just looks like a backpack that she just threw the kid in.
The kid has a nice little short-billed hat on. He's taken care of.
As does mom. What looks like a visor, maybe.
Dude, the guy behind her.
Okay, I didn't even notice him. I was focusing on her. Oh, man. This is my true first reaction. I haven't seen this guy.
So what do you think? It's a mullet for sure.
Yeah, he looks like he could be a time traveler from today, gone back, and he really likes the band Prayers.
You saying this guy's a Cholo Goth?
Cholo Goth, yeah. Because that earring, man.
It's very dangly. It's
from the lobe to the shoulder.
Yep. It's almost hitting the neckline of the T-shirt.
Yeah.
I can't believe you missed him.
I don't know either. I was looking at Huell and his polo shirt and the lady with her...
I'm not going to lie to you. I missed the baby the first time.
I see where our priorities lie then.
Oh, man.
She doesn't say much of consequence, just kind of that, her parents own this store behind them. Cool. And she's excited to be there because this is a pretty big cultural event for Japanese Americans in Los Angeles, so it seems.
And we can't lose sight of that.
But
we also can't lose sight of these unique cargo shorts that I'm guessing her husband is wearing.
They're both wearing like loud colored shirts with visors.
With full shout.
Yeah. Like
as Fraser would say.
They're definitely dressed similar enough, almost like they are on a vacation. You know when people go to Disneyland and they all have a same shirt so they can know like, oh, from across the line, there's Billy in the Winnie the Pooh shirt. Same as Grandpa and Uncle Timmy.
Yeah.
So that's the look they're getting.
Okay,
but to get to the cargo shorts,
yeah, okay,
I miss these too.
They are highly unique. They were like
for one reason.
Okay, yeah, good.
The pockets in front, like on the thigh.
Yeah, it's right there.
Like, you know, they're normally on the side.
And those integrated belt loops.
They're very wide loops.
Well, here's the thing. The way the kid is on this guy's shoulders, have you noticed this? He's holding the left leg and the right arm.
Yeah.
Perfect symmetry of balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this kid's not going anywhere.
No.
Because I always do the whole thing when the kid's on your shoulders, you grab both legs, right? You do
they could just fall right back on your...
Depends on how big their head is, but yeah.
Are you meet many small-headed kids?
No.
We could go on them forever. We need to get to the next lady because she's well-spoken.
Yes. Explains
the importance of this parade and this whole kind of celebration very well until Huell gets all discombobulated.
So that's a good way to put it. Because that pause, so the music, so what ends up happening is the music comes closer, which is non-traditional Japanese music. And I could already tell this is throwing Huell off.
Yep.
Like, what the heck is this? First of all, it's loud, and it's not even Japanese.
Yeah.
And he mentions to her after he does that awkward pause, the 2-second pause, looking at her. Then he stops, and he says, "Oh, I can't even hear myself think."
Yeah.
And it was, anyways.
But he recovered really well because he's like, it's not even a Japanese song. But that's really what it's about, right? The melding of American and Japanese cultures.
Which she comes back.
It was great. That I thought, because if I was in his position and I got all discombobulated, which I do on the show all the time, but I edit it out so you guys never hear it. Where I'll start to we start to talk and then and get all stupid and have to edit it out. Huell doesn't ever do that. He just rolls with them punches.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, we get more dancers, and then...
This is great.
Huell is interviewing a motorcycle cop in the middle of the parade, and at first you think, like, oh, maybe they're just behind, like, or they're, like, waiting to start moving. And then he starts moving, and the guy talks about, oh, I probably get to do this because of my Japanese heritage. Hey, dude, I gotta go. And you realize Huell has held up the whole parade. And Louis pans over to like watch the cop go off, and it's like half a block
Yeah.
to the people before.
All right, that's it. I got to go now. And then
He's got to go. He's on the payroll.
He's on the payroll. Oh, it's awesome.
But Huell really did not care one iota about stopping these parades.
Oh, for sure. No.
But we're going to take a break from the parade. We're going to head inside. Huell, tell us where we're going.
Well, we're taking a little break from the heat of the parade to come over here to the Japanese American Community and Cultural Center to see this wonderful display of flowers they have here. They told us it was something to see, and from first look, it's something to see, all right.
Okay. All right. So, we've been here before. Do you remember being here before? The Japanese American Community and Cultural Center.
Mm-hmm.
Why were we here?
This is where the grapefruit tree was.
That's right. Testing you on our own show.
No, I got it.
I got another quiz at the end.
Oh.
Just you wait.
Okay, we can edit it out if I don't do well.
If you boof
Just
it.
kidding.
So, what'd you think of this whole plant show?
I thought it was cool. I mean, I'm a fan of I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I'm more of a fan of the bonsai trees myself.
Agreed.
But
Same.
I definitely thought that these plants would have been in the house, the next door neighbors of the Griswolds on Christmas vacation.
Okay.
They're very modern.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I figured that you particularly would be into the houseplants because little window into the world of Allan, you have a lot of houseplants in your house.
I don't have house. Well, I'm a co-owner.
Yes.
My wife is very much into houseplants, and I get to appreciate the aesthetic of it, but I don't know anything about them.
Kathleen's going to come help out Aaron do some houseplant shopping, I think. I heard them talking that up the other day.
You're going to Bowles? Old
Is that
Bowles
where you
Nursery? Yeah.
Shout out to Bowles. Thought maybe you went to White Forest or whatever.
No.
It is.
No.
Either way, these plants are wild. And Huell is really kind of flipping out about them. Because they're very ornate, like interesting, intricate kind of plant sculptures almost.
Well, this is the first time where Huell just is so caught up and he says, "Look at this, Louis. Look at this, just right here." And so he gives a very quiet, "Louis, take a look at this."
Yeah.
Which is the first one that, I don't know, can you remember another one?
Not in
Thus
that
far?
kind of like in amazement way. Like a couple weeks ago, he was like telling Louis to turn his head, but that was more like a command than a, "Hey, buddy, check this cool thing out."
Yeah.
So he's being led around by this lady who's kind of giving him a lowdown, and then he asks her a really kind of weird question, which is, "Why are Japanese so good at this?" And she kind of laughs at the question, but then gives a good answer, which is that there's a 600-year history of this kind of plant arranging in Japan, I guess. Mm-hmm. And it could have gone bad. Like, that's not the most PC of questions. And Huell's not a PC guy, and we wouldn't want him to be so. But it could have gone
It could
worse.
have, yeah.
I'm glad it didn't. And it seems like his personality would not be one to warrant "Who's they? Who are these people?" kind of reaction. So,
Yeah. So basically her answer is, we've been doing it for 6 decades.
yeah.
Oh,
and
sorry,
then
six
60 decades. And then she says that Japanese enjoy being in nature, even when they're not. They live in nature in their minds, which is an interesting sentiment. And she says that Japanese like to live within nature, where Americans like to conquer nature. And I could take offense to that, but I don't think I should, because it's kind of the truth,
Well, I don't...
historically speaking.
Right. But I don't know if Tokyo as a city didn't conquer nature to become a city. But we can leave that out, right?
Cherry blossom trees
Maybe
everywhere?
they integrated
Who
in.
knows?
Yeah, no, I get it.
That's why they live in nature in their minds.
Maybe this was her passive-aggressive response to a...
Oh, to his... Yeah.
Oh, really?
There you go.
No.
Well, we're going
It
to
was totally
change...
fine.
We're changing gears here, but we're staying in the same building.
We're just fast-forwarding 4 days.
Yes. So, Huell, explain why we're doing this.
Now, I know I'm gushing, but I don't think I've ever seen flowers as beautifully arranged as these were. All of this, of course, part of the Nisei Festival. Now, jumping ahead in time, which we can do, 4 days later, we were back in the same big room in the Japanese American Cultural and Community Center to see another exhibit. This time it was of miniature trees called bonsai. Now, it's kind of hard to explain, but by trimming the roots and wiring the limbs, and by meticulous pruning, the artist, and that's exactly what they are, over a period of a number of years, are able to craft these amazing examples of living art.
Okay, did you catch something there? Because you kind of mentioned it before the clip that we fast-forwarded 4 days.
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't catch it.
Huell says we're fast-forwarding in time because we can do that. Now, to me, that is him admitting to being a time traveler.
Yeah.
So, if you follow Instagram, I saw a car with a license plate that said "You're amazing" on it, and I said, "Oh, if it was an Explorer, I think Huell was a time traveler." I think he is.
It could be. I don't see why not.
There's no reason to believe that Huell wasn't just on this existential plane for the time he was here, and that all other times he's in all other places. What do you think about that?
Whoa.
Anyway, speaking of being in all places at all times, Huell is all over this bonsai exhibit.
Dude.
And you said you'd be into this too, and I gotta agree with you. Because like sometimes you see bonsais and they're always that kind of same looking bonsai, but
Yeah.
these are like all kinds of different trees.
Yeah. The forestscape is what really did it for me. But we get to hear from John Naka.
Yeah.
I mean, he's, at least underneath his name, he is a bonsai master. Which I'm not going to challenge that because he seems like it.
No. So here we're looking now at this forestscape because there's like singular trees, and then there's one forestscape with what it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 to 5 trees, different species, also, and even the ground looks. Dude,
Did a good job. I mean, I'm
He's a
fairly
master.
ignorant of this.
Yeah, me
Looks
too.
great. My thing about this bit is that Huell figures out a way
Yeah, I know
to
where you're
pick
going.
one up.
Look at my notes. Of course, Huell has to pick one up. And he's asking the whole time, like, is this fragile? Is it fragile? And what was his name? John? Yeah, John Naka.
Yeah, John.
He says it's very, it's delicate in the, like, the placement, the pot thing it's in.
Uh-huh.
But the tree is as strong as us. I like that. Well, it's not just trees, though, right?
No, we got a viewing stone over here.
And
And the question that John asks Huell is well, I'm not making fun of him,
yeah,
but literally this is what he'll ask Huell is, what do you feel odd about this? What he means to say is, do you feel anything when you look at this stone?
and Huell doesn't really know how to answer that question, so he doesn't. He just says, well, yeah, there's got to be something.
And then
Okay.
he launches into an explanation about what a viewing stone is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a mountain from afar.
Yeah, miniaturized kind of thing.
Yeah, really, and he gives the whole philosophy of the viewing stone. And really, that's
it for this segment.
we're
We're jamming through these because there's a lot of information and a lot of fun in this episode.
Which at the end we hear from Huell that they've actually recorded. They have so much recorded material that they could have made 3 or 4 episodes out of this.
I believe it.
I mean, what we got here, because we still have 1, 2, 3, 4 skits, four bits to go. Skits.
What if this was all acted out?
It'd be so crazy.
Oh man, that'd be such a trick on us. But yeah, the stone, the viewing stone, was kind of a really philosophical, artistic thing.
Well, yeah, he mentions just how you don't know what the birds are singing about, but you enjoy the beauty. This is what the stone is supposed to do for like visually, and then he says that's the philosophy of the viewing stone. It's like, wow.
Same could be said about Huell's salmon-colored shirt.
Ooh, oh yeah.
You could tell that there's a lot of time traveling in this because he wears about 7 different shirts too, in all the different segments. Speaking of segments, we're heading back out. Huell, where are we going now?
At first, you're not sure what you're seeing. A man standing there behind a wooden box working with a colored material of some sort, using his hands to pull it and shape it. A crowd quickly gathers. What's this man doing? And then kind of a gasp as everyone sees this shape taking place, a bird in flight. Shunichi Yanagi has been making these sculptures for years. It's called amezaiku, the art of making candy sculpture. And it's an Oriental tradition that goes back hundreds, possibly thousands of years.
All right, so we're in the Japanese Village Plaza, and we are with the Japanese Candyman.
Yep, that's Shunichi Yanagi. And first thing, do you think that this is maybe an old video log segment?
It's hard to tell because the microphone is the same all the way through, but...
It is, but here's why I'm thinking so. His name is spelled in pink letters.
Oh, his as well?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know it happens again later.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that that's why. Plus, Huell is wearing... His hair looks significantly darker. Like he's less gray in this segment than the one 2 minutes prior.
I'll take some investigation.
No need. It's done. I investigated.
Okay.
So, Huell throws out an amazing at 12 minutes, 34 seconds. And this really is amazing. I like candy.
Honestly, I didn't know it was candy until they mentioned it probably the second time.
What did you think it was?
It's dumb, but I thought it was molten glass or something. I had no idea.
There's a lady in here that says it. The one that Huell says, "Oh, these things they just start off as a glob." She's like, "Yeah, a glob." But she's the one in that pink cable knit sleeveless sweater. Mm-hmm. And she also said she thought it was glass or something else. But no, it's just corn syrup and like melted sugar, I guess.
Yeah.
It does look like glass forming, but he's touching it with his hands.
I know. It's dumb when you think about it after. But if you just throw it on somebody, what do you think this is? And I have no idea. It's crazy looking.
Yeah.
But it's amezaiku.
Yeah.
Obviously said that wrong. But that's the name of the sculpting practice. And it was Sean. Mm-hmm. He mentions there's only 2 people in the United States at this time.
92
that was performing it. It's pretty...
Him and a guy in Disney World.
Oh, was it Disney World?
That's what he said,
I didn't hear that part.
So...
Yeah, I'm seeing Huell now. He definitely has a Mark Summers look.
Yeah.
This is early Huell.
Uh-huh. I mean, that kind of like tealish shirt with the rolled up sleeves. It's a good look, but
yeah.
I mean, he's got a different haircut and everything. It's definitely a different day. Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with that.
No. Did you notice when Sean's making the candy initially, we got a kid in the background over here.
Oh, Miller?
Oh, is that Miller? Yeah. I thought it was a killer.
No,
you're right.
But not like a Miller beer shirt.
No.
I don't know what is going on in the graphic, but you can tell he wants to come closer, but his dad is having to wrangle him in by the shoulder.
Oh, you see that firm grip?
Yeah. You think the kid could maybe push his dad's hand off his shoulder if he just plucked him out of the sweatpant pockets that he's got?
I would think so. This kid, he has the eyes of the children in Costco.
Oh, at the
With the
samples?
samples?
Yeah. Yeah.
The samples pop up. He's ready to go.
Speaking of shirts in this segment, though, you just clicked on it right here. So you see this kid dead center. Well, all the kids. Let's start with all the kids first.
Yeah.
You notice they have pieces of paper pinned to their shirts?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anything about this?
No idea.
Okay. So I never experienced this, but I knew someone who told me that this was a thing that they had happen to them in kindergarten age time all the time. Teacher would have to take or send something home to parents. So they would just pin it on the kids' clothing?
Like a note?
Yeah. Or like homework, permission slips.
Well, in the Kevin Hart skit, he says that this teacher stapled it to his back.
I never heard that one. But it was so crazy to me when I first heard this.
Yeah, I've never heard that.
I'm pretty sure that's what's going on here. These kids are all wearing their permission slips to go to the field trip of the Candyman. But to more pressing matters, the kid dead center.
Yeah.
Obviously something's going on with that shirt there.
Yeah, who is that? What character is that?
I think, I may be wrong. I tried to find the shirt. I couldn't find it, but there were lots of these back in the day. I think that is a Jake the Snake Roberts shirt.
What?
Yeah. It kind of is reminiscent of a Jake the Snake shirt that I remember seeing on kids in the audiences of wrestling shows in the 90s. Don't quote me on it.
No, but how does that make you feel?
Jealous.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, I never had no Jake the Snake shirt.
I only had the action figure where the arm was spring-loaded.
I've had plenty of wrestling shirts in my life, but never a Jake the Snake shirt.
Man.
But this is a pretty interesting segment. It's hard for us to explain how intricate and crazy these things are and how cool they are. So we're just going to...
Yeah, and it's not like those little wax Coke bottle candies.
No.
It's a little more complicated than that.
Yeah. We're going to leave it up to you to go check this episode out because you really should see this stuff. It's a work of art. And I hope that he's still doing it somewhere. I couldn't really find anything on him.
I couldn't either. I'd have to look a little closer. But I'm sure he's passed it on.
Hopefully he's not passed on.
Oh,
It's already
rest in peace if so.
Yeah. Anyway, let's head on down the road. Huell, where are we going?
It takes place the last day of the festival, and it's one of the highlights of Nisei Week. It's the Ondo Street Dance. Now, Ondo means dance in Japanese, and this dance involves thousands of people literally out in the middle of the street in a big circle performing traditional Japanese dances. Now, some people are dressed in authentic clothing, and some are wearing jeans. Some are professional, while others are just joining in. But regardless of their age or how good they are, everybody has a lot of fun.
Well, we slide back on in to people doing a coal miner's dance.
Yeah.
Apparently, right?
Yeah, and again, Huell in the salmon shirt, totally in the middle of the parade.
Oh, for sure. And here's the thing. Next to this lady, he looks like he's 8 foot tall.
I mean, Louis got this low-angle camera shot looking up at the lady who... Do you think she's over 5 feet?
This is what it looks like to me. You know, in Lord of the Rings, when Peter Jackson does forced perspective...
Do you need to ask this
know,
question?
That's getting you warmed up over here.
Of course I know.
This is a forced perspective.
Exactly.
What do you think?
Yeah, Huell is obviously 3 to 4 feet in front of the woman in question here. So she could be 5'5", but it makes Huell look 8'5",
Right.
because of that whole thing. But
she's smooth, though. I'm not going to lie.
yes. Well, she's the dance teacher, right?
Yeah, but she's carried on a conversation. Mm-hmm.
She's explaining that the dance that we're seeing here is this coal miner's dance because it's kind of the motion of shoveling coal and throwing it over your shoulder, but much more elegant
One of the students, we don't get her name, but she is the one that danced through the entire interview.
Oh man,
You can just watch it. It's so.
There's even the point when, because he's asking like, "Oh, did your mom make you do this?" Yeah, she kind of made me do this, and then he'll kind of like backs up to kind of like get a quick glance of the moves, and then fully backs up. But it's kind of this look like, hey, let me check this out. Yeah, you're pretty good.
Oh, then we get to meet Hanayagi Suzuyukino.
Yeah,
Dang it! Thought it'd be a little better at that, but
it's a lot of syllables.
It is. I tried. She's a dance instructor,
Yes.
and she describes the movement in the dance, which was sort of interesting to me.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say sort of interesting. It was interesting.
Yeah.
And how Western, I'm going to call them moves, dance moves, are more boisterous, where the hands move outside of the body lines. And that's
and about the hands kind of like staying small and delicate,
right.
that being more attractive.
So in Japanese culture, if you're in a parade, do you wave?
Only if you're in the body line.
The body line wave?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't turn it like the queen.
No. And pigeon-toed.
That's right. Well,
that's it for the dancing.
I'm telling you, this is rapid fire.
Yeah. Huell, again, tell us where we're going.
Now, there's been dancing like this in the streets of Little Tokyo ever since the Nisei Week Japanese Festival started over 50 years ago. But Little Tokyo itself has been around since before the turn of the century. Don't let these modern shops and skyscrapers fool you. This place has a very rich history.
So I like this bit. Did you like this bit?
I did. It was interesting. I mean, he talks about historical preservation and things of that sort.
Because that has not happened all the time in California or the country in general. Mm-hmm. Things get torn down a lot.
Right.
Especially in L.A., kind of in those days, in those decades. We're talking like the 70s is when he mentioned that these Little Tokyo decision makers decided to not tear down those original storefronts because he said that they were earthquake retrofitted for safety. And a lot of places, it was cheaper to just tear them down than to do major renovations. But I guess these decision makers, whoever they may have been at the time, said, no, we're keeping things the way they are because we want to preserve this history.
Yeah. Well, he mentioned, and it's kind of, I think, well known at this point, that when the reason Huell was asking about Little Tokyo and the founding of Little Tokyo and why Little Tokyo, like why in Los Angeles. And Chris, was it? Komai. He basically describes that Little Tokyo was for ethnic groups to, group together. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
That's kind of what happened with all of the different ethnic enclaves in these cities, New York, Chicago, L.A., San Francisco. These first wave immigrants came in, kept their culture because they hadn't assimilated, whether it be language or food, all those kind of cultural landmark things. And it's just what happens. Mm-hmm. And it's up to those cultures to maintain those areas if they so choose to.
Right.
Some cultures want to assimilate more fully into the American culture, which no right or wrong answer. It's just what happens. In some cities, like, I would say San Francisco's Little Italy is not exactly like a super authentic cultural enclave. Mm-hmm. It's more like, how would you describe it? A caricature?
Yeah, I think
in a way.
So.
Like, there's definitely still some very authentic places there. Like, certain delis I remember going in were super cool. But, I think a place like...
what do you think, like San Diego's Little Italy?
I haven't been to that one. Is it good?
I mean, it could be classified the same way, but there's some authentic.
I think certain areas of, like, New York and New Jersey probably, like, kept more thick.
Yeah.
Thick. Ethnic.
Thick.
Ethnic. But...
Well, no.
What are you going to say?
No. I was going to move on to the next bit, but if you got more... Okay. On the same page here.
Yeah.
Literally, you flip the page over.
I know. So what is it?
We actually get the color guard.
Yeah.
in action with the Bugle Corps.
Yes, the boys who did our theme, we actually get to hear a little history about them.
Just shredding on the brass.
Now, the song that they play here, I don't know what this is, but didn't it seem like they did a much crisper, cleaner job of this than the California Here I Come?
Oh, yeah.
So they obviously know this song
right
real well. In fact, if you look at the theme being played in the beginning of the episode, they all have sheet music in front of them. So they were handed this by Dave Hayami, I'm sure, who's the music director of Troop 379.
And Dave was killing it.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But he kind of just throws a little bit of current musical director jargon at us. But then he throws it to Masanori Fujimoto, who was
Nice.
pays to watch Japanese wrestling and hear these syllables be said a lot. He was, part of the second crew, he said?
Mm-hmm. Well, he said he joined in 1937.
Yeah, and the troop started in 1932, so he was the second grouping after that original one. And then...
I presume that this is his son.
Yeah.
Is that bad or is that wrong?
Well,
or
they don't have the same... They have the same last name, yeah. Ken Fujimoto. He's the current scoutmaster. So, yeah, it must be some family lineage with them.
Runs in the family.
And Huell asked him probably the most interesting question I've heard him ask so
in
far.
In
his
24
career so far.
Oh, okay.
So far. There'll be plenty more.
What's the question?
He asked what was happening during World War II when things weren't normal.
It's a nice way to put it.
That's the nicest way I've ever heard anyone broach the subject of Japanese internment during World War II, which was pretty gnarly thing to have happen. And it was an interesting answer. And I'm glad Huell asked it because Ken told the story of the troop, since they were all kind of interred in the same area, which was Hart Mountain, Wyoming. They just kept it going.
Yeah.
They even sent some dudes back to go get the instruments so that they could keep tooting the horns.
It's crazy. It is.
But as we'll learn, there's a number of internment episodes that we're going to get to, and it seemed like continuing things as if it was everyday life in these internment camps was really a way for these people to cope with the bad situation they were forced into.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess these boys wanted to keep scouting.
Speaking of the boys, we get two younger members that Huell talks to. Did you notice that guy has a Chicago Bulls patch on his arm?
What did he do to earn that one?
Is that what it is?
It's totally that. Oh, man. Do you think he went to the game and that's how he earned that merit badge? He went and saw the Lakers and Bulls in 92. You imagine those games?
Oh, man. Yeah.
Oh, I did not notice that. That's not... He's in the background.
Yeah, he's gazing.
Yeah, I thought his homie in front, who Huell is forcing to answer the question the way he wants it. So you pretty proud? Yeah, I'm pretty proud. Very proud? Very proud. Well, you notice...
You know the hair. We got to comment on that.
Hit it.
It's this wouldn't be called a high and tight. It's just what would you call
it?
this
It's like
haircut?
between that and a mohawk. It's like in that kind of no man's land.
Yeah, but it's slicked back and bleached halfway,
half bleached.
Right.
What do you think this kid is into besides scouting?
Let's see.
Agent Orange, the band. I think you listen to Agent Orange.
You think so?
Yeah.
It is in Los Angeles.
He doesn't look like he's a surfer.
No, I was going to say, well, I don't even want to say skateboarder. Maybe he's a rollerblader.
Like one of those first wave rollerbladers?
This is before Airborne, right?
I don't know.
Jack Black and Seth Green's first movie?
I don't think I saw it. I know what you're talking about.
Well, no, Airborne came out in 93. This is 92, right?
Yeah, but it must have been filming now.
Oh, he for sure would have been into it, though,
Yeah.
when it came out. He went to the theaters. He went to the midnight showing.
Probably went to the taping location because he was already at the park, rink, whatever they skate on.
They skate down hills.
Oh, okay.
Remember, because it's a surfer that moves to the Midwest.
No, I haven't seen this.
Yeah, he's a downhill rollerblader. Dude, we got to watch. We're watching it when this is over.
Rent it. if possible.
On Plex? Where do you get it?
Go to Video
Voodoo?
Zone.
Did you say Video Zone?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, let's get to the best part.
Yeah. I'm partial to this too. Huell hit it. Physically hit it.
It's a distinctive sound, produced by a drum whose origins go back to ancient times, the Japanese taiko drum. And here at the Senshing Buddhist Temple, a group of musicians, members of Kanata Taiko, are playing on these drums like generations before them. The group is led by Los Angeles native Johnny Mori, who also plays taiko as part of the contemporary jazz group Hiroshima. Now, Johnny is a third-generation Japanese-American, or Sansei, who's been interested in the taiko drum for years.
Dude.
Yeah.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's a drummer.
Yeah. So, as you heard, we're at the Senshing Buddhist Temple with Johnny Mori.
Which is such a jazz fusion name.
Funny you should say that. Because as you heard in the clip, he's part of the band Hiroshima, which you've never heard of.
No.
Okay. So, they're one of these bands where their record covers look kind of cool. So I would see them in like thrift stores and stuff, and I would grab them thinking like, oh, maybe this is some like crazy AOR thing. But this is like long ago before I knew much about jazz or fusion, all this stuff. Not that it's really my thing, but it's still an interesting thing, like a genre.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had Hiroshima records before. So this is like the first kind of musical celebrity beyond, what was his name?
Oh, the tuba guy.
Roy Rogers? Oh, the tuba?
Yeah.
Oh, man. From Santa Cruz. I forgot about him. It was a saxophone.
Yeah, the saxophone. That's right. A giant saxophone.
Yeah. No. So this is also interesting to me because I've actually seen not this band, but another taiko drum crew live and in person.
Where?
WrestleMania 31.
Was it like Sakuraba or what is this?
No. It was Sting's entrance during his only WrestleMania appearance.
Okay.
Yeah. For some reason, no one knew why. No one knows why now. He had a taiko drum crew bring him to the ring.
Was Johnny...
I looked into it. I couldn't figure it. I don't think so. Because they look like a bunch of really younger guys.
Well, the thing that I thought of, because you mentioned the pink letters
Yeah.
for old Sean.
Yes.
Old Johnny got
Yeah.
pink letters. When you mentioned wrestling, I was thinking of Bret Hart.
Uh-huh.
So I thought it was going to tie together, but then you mentioned it's probably a video log. So never
think
mind.
so.
Never mind.
Well, Bret Hart did wrestle Sting in WCW in like 1999, so it could be a weird connection bridging 2014 and 1999 wrestling together.
Whoa.
You think?
Maybe. I mean, Johnny's bridging...
He's bridging two different lengths of hair in one head.
And...
He's
I
got
was going to mention his purple tank top.
Yes.
It's like the third button open on his shirt. He reveals his low-cut purple tank top.
palest of pink button-ups, yeah. So he's explaining kind of the history of the taiko drum and just kind of more the aesthetic of how to play it and everything. He's showing Huell like the stances and everything. Then
I know, this is the best part. I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
Huell says, so can you do a little rocking and rolling on this thing? Sorry to sound so crass, but
then Johnny responds, "No, it's in me. It's what I do."
And then he does like a funk beat on this giant drum.
Oh, it's
man.
so good.
And it is quite an interesting thing that this guy, who's probably within a jazz fusion world, probably pretty famous, relatively.
I'm sure. I have no idea, but I'm guessing so.
Yeah.
I would guess so.
Oh, one other thing, one little detail. He says that his favorite television show is Soul Train, and that's where he gets inspiration.
Some of his moves from. Yeah, that's right.
But like all the segments, this one's short, and we're actually at the end.
Yeah.
Seems like we've done 2 episodes worth
I know.
segments today, but each one was so different and interesting. I liked them all, including the ending.
It's.
Do it. You do this one.
I don't know what to say. Let's just say Huell learned his lesson from the crucial mistake that he made during the Grunion run, which was wearing his boots
In the
as
water.
the tides were washing into his boots and pants. And anyways, he learned his lesson. So what he did is he decided not to only take off his boots, but to roll up his pants. I'm guessing as high as those tight pants could go. I don't know if he's wearing
Levi's.
if he's wearing Wranglers, but in the Valley we refer to those as Stranglers.
Yeah.
So anyway, he just starts traipsing through the pond.
This totally does not seem like he should be doing it.
Right.
And he's just
Well, whose idea was this?
His. It's got to be his.
So Louis, do you think this is a good idea? So, I don't know, Huell.
I'm going to do it. Ask for forgiveness, not for permission. He just was talking about how there were goldfish in this creek thing before, in the intro. And then he's just stepping all over him in the outro.
He doesn't care. Come on.
Oh, Huell.
He's Double H.
Sure is.
Well,
Father to Triple H.
What I thought was funny is how carefully he was walking.
So gingerly.
Oh, yeah, maybe it was slippery. It might have some little, I don't know, a mossy bottom.
Yeah.
Or something.
Well, it's funny because as they're like, they fade into the outro like credit scene where it's just shots of the bonsai. You see him like so scared of falling.
Oh, well, speaking of these bonsai scenes, that's about the end of the show.
Yes, in fact, the outro music this week. I looked it up.
Is it traditional?
No. The song's actually called Bonsai by Graham DeWild.
Okay.
Do you remember that name? This is your quiz.
No.
Well,
Graham
he
DeWild.
has done another outro theme for us, or his songs.
Wait. Is this the weirdo?
Which one?
Is it Santa Cruz?
Nope.
No?
You're on the right track, though.
Okay, let's hear it. No, this is when the quads are in the background.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is technically that. It's for A Closer Look, the one with the plank road.
That's right, yeah.
He did a song called Thanksgiving, which I still don't get that title. This one makes much more sense, Bonsai. But that same kind of fusion-y stuff.
He's prolific then, right?
Maybe he was a friend of Johnny Morey.
Old John Dog?
Yeah. That must have been it. Because, I mean, they do a few more of these little ethereal-sounding songs as the years go by.
Well, the Joshua Tree
Yep.
episode.
That one.
Which
Dude.
cannot wait to get to it.
Yeah.
When you showed me that changed my world.
Uh-huh. Speaking of changing worlds, our world is a-changing just like the seasons and the tides. But this season is changing because this season finale, as you heard.
So what are we doing in between?
So
we got
last
an in-betweener?
Okay. Last season, we decided to do 2 visitings. That was a bit much.
It was a bit much. But we thought, because they were the 2 most requested visitings, that people might like it. Turns out, lowest listened to show we've ever done and probably ever will do.
Don't understand it. Go listen to those shows. It was good. It's the one with the elephant. And then, what was the other one?
Whew.
Maybe this is why.
I'm trying to black it out, yeah, because it was such a...
Either way, I think it was more because I called it the mystery show and didn't tell anyone what it was.
Yeah.
So we're telling you, straight out, this is what we're doing next week.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very fun episode of Road Trip.
Where are we going?
We are going nowhere because we're staying in town. It's the Bakersfield Road Trip. Huell took a road trip to us and visited some of the wet and wildest places in this town of the time. And this one takes place, I think it was 2005 or 6. So it's pretty contemporary as far as the time, like today. And all the places that he went to are still around.
Maybe we'll do our episode from there.
There being
Well, do you
any
want
of
to
the
say?
places? Hit it up.
Wool growers.
Yes.
Where else do you want to go?
Crystal Palace. Alley Cat.
Mm-hmm. Dwarves. Dwarves.
Okay. Done.
So, do you know what the other episode was? It was the Salton Sea.
There you go.
And that is by far the most interesting interaction and governance structure for a city that we've encountered so far.
It's so cool. You guys got to go back and listen to it. It's so good. But listen to that one. Listen to this one. You are listening to this one. If you're hearing this, listen next week because we're staying local.
And in our opinion, he found a bit of California's gold, but we'll just say we're still looking.
Yeah. Either way, we hope that you come along with us this week, next week, and every week as we continue our search for
Huell's Gold.